What is going on, UW fantasy football players? Well, here we are, down to the final two. The championship game is set. There are two teams left standing, battling for the fifth ever championship of the UW Fantasy Football League. And unfortunately, neither myself or my co-host, who is MIA today, because he is so sad that he lost, neither one of us made it to the championship game. It was a good run by us, so we were down to the final two. Congratulations to Kevin Brown. That's a 2 clap for you, Kevin. And congratulations to Stephen Farley Judy for making it to the championship game this week. And I just want to take a quick look at what happened yesterday. As you can tell from my lack of excitement, I'm still devastated in getting over the fact that of all the things going on in my life right now, fantasy football is no longer one of them. So basically, here's what it is, guys, and this is a great quote. I have to give credit. Somebody from our office named Amy Lind, who is the media director here at UW Sports Ministry and does a fantastic job. She heard this on the radio this morning and passed it on to me, and I need to share it with you. It takes skill to get into the playoffs in a fantasy football league. So congratulations to everybody that got in, because it actually took some skill. But it takes luck to actually win once you get in the playoffs. So yesterday was a great example of that. As we looked at all the games going on from this weekend, I think you see that no matter how good a team you have, how many great moves you made, how much you've analyzed everything, it comes down to just having a little bit of luck. Not sure what I'm talking about? Let me explain. For example, Ryan Van Hoven. Let's look at his matchup first against Kevin Brown. Now Kevin, things just fell into place for him again. Austin Collie has had more concussions this year than I think any person ever in the history of the NFL, yet he keeps coming back. So yesterday he's in the game out of nowhere, even though he hasn't played in weeks. He's indoors wearing his stupid black visor. I don't even know why. He's just out there basically with half a brain running around. I don't know how he could even play. And yet, sure enough, he gets back right in time for the playoffs. Kevin sticks him back into his starting lineup. Within the first 2 quarters of the game, he's already got 2 touchdowns. And then he gets knocked out in the 3rd quarter with another concussion and is out. But he came in just enough time for 2 quarters to give Kevin, I think, 20 points for just that guy coming in, which is unbelievable, because as much as Kevin loves Mike Sims-Walker, he benched him again. Mike Sims-Walker had 2 touchdowns yesterday, Kevin. I would suggest getting him in there for the championship game. Not to mention Jamal Charles was on Kevin's bench yesterday, who also scored 20 points. So on his bench, he had a 16 and a 20, yet he throws in Austin Collie, who comes back from the dead and gets him 20 points. Meanwhile, on the other side, talk about bad luck, Ryan Van Hoven drafts Antonio Gates, the best tight end, my favorite Charger player right now. Just kidding. I don't even know why I said that. Phillip Rivers is my favorite Chargers player, but Antonio Gates is a close second. He's dominating all season. He gets this foot injury. He tries to play through it. It gets to the playoffs now for fantasy, and then Antonio Gates decides not to play. So what does Ryan do? He has to bench him, which stinks because he's the best tight end there is. And meanwhile, Ryan's in here telling everybody what a great tight end Brent Selleck's going to be, and he's going to score 20 points. So he trades for him. He hasn't scored a point in like 4 weeks. So Ryan finally drops him. And what does he do yesterday? He promptly scores a touchdown and has 70 yards. And he didn't start him. He started a different tight end. So it just all went downhill there and made some rough things that you never would have known. So Ryan ended up losing out. Kevin got the better end of the luck getting Collie back. And Ryan kind of got the worst end of the luck having to get rid of Brent Selleck and losing Antonio Gates, not to mention some of his other players that he normally would have started. Everything went wrong. The Eagles got behind early, which means LaShawn McCoy did not become part of the game. So it's just how it went. Now, my game against Farley, it turned in like 1 minute. I don't know if you guys have ever watched the stat tracker, but it's so frustrating because you're always trying to sometimes the score doesn't change for like 10, 15 minutes. You're just hoping for somebody to get a point. I was up 35-15 on you, Steve and Judy, with about a quarter left of all the early games on Sunday. And all of a sudden, within a 1 minute time frame, literally 1 minute, it was 36-35, you were ahead. Benjamin Watson had some crazy long catch. Larry Fitzgerald had some crazy long catch. And then Lance Moore had his only catch of the game that scored you a touchdown. So that's how quickly it turns. And then 2 plays last night just drove me crazy. Number 1, Ben Jarvis Green Ellis, the guy with 44 names, who I've just ragged on this entire season, does nothing against the stout Green Bay Packer defense last night, except happens to break one 30-yard touchdown run. And then after that, he was non-existent. But that was just enough to get you 10 points out of him in 1 play, basically. And then just the most frustrating thing I've ever seen, because you have the Patriots defense, just killed me Sunday night. They intercept a pass from Matt Flynn, who played well, by the way, I mean, considering. And I think there's only 11 players allowed in the field at the same time, but somehow he broke 14 tackles because I'm screaming, listen, don't let him get in the end zone. It's a defensive touchdown. And every Packer had about 3 shots to tackle him. They were wrapped around his ankles, and this guy that intercepted the ball was just walking into the end zone. So the 2 gigantic plays killed me in my matchup yesterday with Farley, not to mention the fact that no Sean Marino, who's been averaging 16 points a game for the last week or so, last 4 weeks or so, got hurt on the second series of the game, ended up scoring me a big 0, so I had an injured running back, and that's just what it is. Injuries will kill you in fantasy, so congratulations to Kevin Brown, who is a past champion, and Farley Judy making his inaugural appearance in the championship game next week. It should be a good one. Ryan is back in Virginia. If it was he and I was going to put him in on a phone call. If it was Kevin and I was going to put Kevin in on a phone call. Unfortunately, it's Farley and Kevin, meaning no one's on a phone call. My season is over, but let me tell you 1 or 2 good pieces of advice before we sign off here. Number 1, Jesus was born and came to earth, and that's Christmas, and we should be celebrating that, and that's a great thing. Number 2, I like the Phoenix Suns. Grant Hill scored 30 points last night. Has nothing to do with anything, but another friend of mine who happens to also be my cousin said, if Jesus were a basketball player, he'd be Steve Nash. So I can focus on the basketball season a little bit more. The Arizona Wildcats had a great win yesterday. The San Diego Chargers need some help from the Kansas City Chiefs to lose, but other than that, everything is good there. I get to run a sports camp here, go the distance sports camp over the break, which is going to be totally awesome between Christmas and New Year's. So many good things to think about. I have just so much fun playing fantasy football again this year. It was fun to be in first place all season. It was fun being the number 1 seed. I'm graciously bowing out and excited for both Farley and Kevin to bring home what is known nationwide as probably the most prized fantasy football league championship there is, the UW Sports Ministry Fantasy Football League. Have a great week, you guys. Merry Christmas to everybody. Hope you enjoy time with your family, and good luck to those 2 guys. And we will probably see you from somewhere next week. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but we'll give some shout out to the winner, and then we'll make sure we finish off this season in the right way. Side note, congratulations to our 2 consolation winners this week, Ryan Newton and Mike Lieberneck, who both scored over 100 points and would have beat all of us left in the Final Four. Double congratulations to Ryan Newton, who also got engaged this weekend. He is going to be a married man. We're so happy for Ryan Newton. So he could care less probably about fantasy football. His Cowboys are winning. He's got a fiance. Life is good. Merry Christmas. I'll talk to you guys later.